This haunting photo from the Victorian era showcases a practice known as post-mortem photography. During this time, it was common for families to pose with deceased loved ones as a way to preserve their memory. With high infant mortality rates, such photos were often the only visual record of a child. The daughter in this photo appears serene, with her eyes seemingly open, a result of techniques designed to give an illusion of life. This image captures the process of making a death mask, a practice once reserved for preserving the likeness of notable individuals such as Napoleon Bonaparte and Abraham Lincoln. Unlike the idealized Egyptian funeral masks, these were realistic molds taken directly from the deceased's face. Used for sculptures, paintings, or as memorials, death masks merged art with the solemnity of death. In the catacombs of Guanajuato, Mexico, naturally mummified bodies are eerily displayed. These remains belong to individuals whose families could not afford burial fees during the 19th century. The dry climate contributed to the preservation of the corpses, turning this site into both a historic relic and a tourist attraction. This image, taken in the late 19th century, reflects the mass slaughter of bison during America's westward expansion. The bones were often processed into fertilizer or used in industrial products. Once numbering in the millions, bison populations plummeted, highlighting the devastating ecological consequences of overhunting. In the Middle Ages, Egyptian mummies were shipped to Europe and sold for various purposes. Ground into powders, they were used as medicine, believed to cure ailments. By the Victorian era, mummies became collectibles for the wealthy, often unwrapped during extravagant mummy parties. This photo portrays the bizarre commodification of ancient remains. This poignant photograph of a 9-year-old girl working in a Maine seafood cannery reveals the harsh realities of child labor in early 20th century America. Children as young as 10 often worked long hours under grueling conditions. Images like this fueled labor reforms, eventually banning child labor in many industries. This photograph, taken near the Buchenwald concentration camp, shows a harrowing collection of wedding rings taken from Holocaust victims. These relics symbolize the unimaginable loss endured by millions during World War II. Such images documented the atrocities and served as evidence during the Nuremberg trials. During the polio epidemic of the early 20th century, iron lungs were a lifeline for those paralyzed by the disease. Hospitals were filled with rows of these machines, which helped patients breathe. This photo captures the overwhelming scale of the epidemic before the vaccine's introduction in 1955. This 1916 photograph from World War I shows a soldier in the trenches with a vacant, 1,000-yard stare. This expression, often linked to trauma, was a hallmark of shell shock, known today as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. It serves as a stark reminder of the psychological toll of war. Ada Blackjack, an Inuit woman, joined an Arctic expedition in 1921 as a cook. When the team was stranded, she adapted, hunting and fishing to survive. By 1923, she was the sole survivor, proving her extraordinary resilience. This photo captures her determination and resourcefulness in the face of adversity.